Alright, welcome back to a low budget filmmaker, and just before we start, I just have one quick thing to say. So I'm now going to be basing movies off of a more in-depth scale. I've really just been going over the storyline of the movie and how I enjoyed it. Now I'm going to be going over, number one, the characters. How much did I enjoy the character? How well did the actor portray the character? And how well did I like the character's plot points? Number two is going to be the storyline. How well did I like the storyline? And yeah, pretty much it. Number three is going to be the dialogue. How well was everything being said? Was the tone right? Was everything pretty much perfectly down packed? And was it believable? That's going to be the biggest thing. Was the dialogue believable? Number four is going to be the cinematography. The cinematography has to be good. It's all about special effects and camera shots and pretty much everything that make a film a film. How well did they get that script and then make it a film? Just pretty much how it is. And then number five is going to be, why did they make this film? Just what was the impact and what was the moral story that the film was trying to make? But that's pretty much it. Enjoy the video. Alright, welcome back to a low budget filmmaker, and today we're going to be talking about the 1993 classic Forrest Gump. Alright, this movie was recommended to me by a few of my friends, so I was just like, fine, I'll watch it and let's just review on it. Alright, perfect. Just the characters, I just want to say, were awesome throughout this film, and every single character did their own certain thing, and it was awesome. It was a really well thought out movie. But yeah, let's get into this. Number one, we have Jenny. I didn't like she was good. She definitely needed to be in the movie, and I think everything that she brought to the table was good. I just didn't like her. She was pretty basic, I guess. She was a druggie. She was a druggie throughout most of the entire middle part of the film. And her beginning's amazing, and her ending is great. Well, not all of her ending, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, I just think that Jenny was this moderate character who really was probably my least favorite character, no doubt about it. Yeah, I found her to be annoying, and I found her to be a pretty rude character towards Forrest, because let's be honest, in the beginning of the movie, she was like, "Oh my God, Forrest, you're the best." But he was also like her only guy friend. And then in the middle of the movie, she totally goes off the rails. She starts doing coke, and just a lot of bad things start happening to her. Other than that, by the end of the film, she has that kid with Forrest, and everything pretty much works out for her. And then the ending happens. But we won't get into that, just because if you haven't seen the movie, well, watch it. It's pretty good. All right, next we're going to start with Lieutenant Dan. I really didn't think I would like Lieutenant Dan, because in the beginning of the film you see, well, not really the beginning, but pretty much like moderately in the middle. Yeah, Lieutenant Dan, he's with Forrest and Bubba in Vietnam. What could go wrong? A lot could go wrong. The Vietnam War happens, and Lieutenant Dan loses both of his legs, and pretty much throughout the entire movie, he's mad at Forrest because Forrest pretty much saved him, and he wishes that he never saved him. More into the movie, pretty much near the end, near the last half hour of the film, Lieutenant Dan actually thanks Forrest, and that is just such a lovable moment. By the end of the movie, you will love Lieutenant Dan, and he really is a good guy. There's a scene, it has some sexual content in it, but pretty much Forrest and Lieutenant Dan have these two hookers, and one of them calls Forrest stupid, and Lieutenant Dan stands up for him. Not actually, because he has no legs, but he does stand up for him figuratively, and it is awesome. It's a great scene, and yeah, definitely a really good scene, and you really like Lieutenant Dan by the end of it. Next character we have is Bubba. Bubba's just this lovable guy. Bubba's just such a lovable character, and everything Bubba does, he's this little homeboy, and he has this weird gum going on. He has a really strong gum in his mouth, and he can't close his lip properly. And Lieutenant Dan talks about it and tells him to get over it, but pretty much Bubba's just this lovable character. And that's all I have to say about him. He's just such a lovable character, and him and Forrest have that really strong bond. And the film really does make it a point to, because Bubba does end up dying. But yes, it is very sad. But after that, everything works out for him and his family, because Bubba just wanted the best for his family. That's what he wanted, and that's what happened. But yeah, perfect. Next person we have is Mrs. Gump, or Forrest's mother. She's an awesome character. Sally Field plays this character with so much believability. That's a word, I hope. But yeah, believability. She's just a lovable character who wants... I know, all of these characters are lovable. They really are, except for Jenny. Jenny's not lovable, except Forrest loves her, but that's alright. Yeah, but Mrs. Gump, she's awesome. She's a great character. She just wants what's best for her son, and that's pretty much what her plotline goes to, is she wants the best for her son, but her son is mentally challenged, and her son's not the brightest. And she just tries her best with what she has, and she does a perfect job. Sally Field plays this role with absolute amazing ability. Yeah. Next we have Forrest, and he's Tom Hanks. What a performance. Tom Hanks has one of the best performances I've ever seen him in. He plays Forrest not just as a character, but as a symbol and as an idol and as a role model. Like, all of these things. He is a role model. Like, he symbolizes redemption. He symbolizes second chances. He does so much with just in every scene. Throughout the whole movie, Forrest Gump is just a perfect character. He's written well. He's acted phenomenally. Everything about him is just so perfect, and so much detail in every single shot, every single scene throughout the movie. Tom Hanks, great job on this one. All right, now we'll move on to our number 2. All right, now we have moved on to number 2, which is the plot. Really, from beginning to end, this is just an enjoyable film. Some of the things I really liked in this film were how well they involve Forrest in all of these historical, pretty much, times in history, I guess. Yeah. He's at the JFK All-American Football handshakes, and then he's at the Vietnam War. And then he's seen at the George Wallace assassination attempt, which is actually really cool. And I like how they add him into those. Pretty good. This another thing I really liked about this film was how all throughout the movie he's telling this story just in flashbacks and in flashbacks and in flashbacks. He's sitting on a bench and he's just telling them, he's just telling this nice old lady what's going on. And as soon as he gets off that bench, everything in his life changes. He gets a son, he meets Jenny, and everything just pretty much works out for him until it doesn't. And then, like, he gets off the bench, he meets Jenny, he meets his son, we meet his son, then Jenny passes away, then he just pretty much lives with his son, and that's pretty much how the movie ends. It is a good ending, though. I just don't tell it well. But other than that, I think it's a really good film, and yes, you should go watch it. Alright, on to number 3. Alright, now we have moved on to number 3, which is the dialogue. All of this dialogue in the film is plain and simple, but wow, does it make an impact. Every word, every sentence Forrest says, it just has that tone where it's just like, yeah, he's been through a lot. And every word, especially those conversations that he has with Jenny, and it's like, I love you, and she's like, I don't know how to respond to that. Those are meaningful conversations. Everything about those conversations are spot on. Same with, like, the little comedic moments that they have with all the presidents, like Nixon and like JFK, which is my favorite scene, which is when he shakes JFK's hand and JFK says, "How does it feel to be an All-American?" And Forrest just responds with, "I gotta pee." Like, that's such a perfect, that's that little comedic bits that you don't think are gonna be funny, but they really are funny. But yeah, the dialogue in this film is really well done, and it's really just well written, I guess. Yeah. Okay, on to number 4. All right, now we have moved on to number 4, which is the cinematography. I really do think that every camera angle and every special effect was pretty well done. The only thing I have to say about the special effects were during the Vietnam War, they looked a little fake, but again, it's the 90s, what can you do? Other than that, I think everything made up, and they got the script, and everything just fit into place. Robert Zemeckis does a great job directing this film and pretty much bringing it to where he wanted it to go. Yeah. The way that they add Forrest, I've already talked about it, but the way that they add Forrest into different points in history, just awesome. The Dick Cavett show with John Lennon, they add John Lennon. The little Elvis scene that they did there, they got an actor, I guess, that looked exactly like Elvis, so they put him in makeup, and he looks like Elvis just from behind the camera, I guess. But yeah, everything about this movie, especially those history points where it's just Forrest is in here, Forrest is in there, Forrest is in this, Forrest is in that. They all do it really, really well, and I think that really does make up this film a lot, and it's really impactful for all the viewers. Yeah. On to number 5. All right, we're here at number 5, which is, what is the point of this film? What points was this film trying to make? All right, perfect. I really do believe that Forrest Gump is not just a character, and I know I've stated that before. I really do believe that he is an idol, this symbol for equality and this symbol for redemption. He gives so many people second chances. Like, Lieutenant Dan should not be in the movie for as long as he is, but Forrest just keeps giving him those redemptions, no matter how mean he is to him. He just keeps, I'm sorry, I'll try and do better, but he's still in his life, and it's the sweetest thing in the world. Another point I think this film is trying to make is how different people can still make a difference in the world. No matter how you are, anybody can make a difference in this world. Any person, any being can make a difference in this world. Yeah. I think Eric Roth, who's the screenwriter of this film, I think he knew what he wanted to do. I think as he was writing this film, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he knew exactly the points that he was trying to make. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on this film. And if you want more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.